The theme here is modern infrastructure for the digital age. And we really want to position the full power of our portfolio and how it enables the digital transformation our customers are undergoing. So it starts with a transformation landscape or transformation update. And organizations are increasingly looking to leverage data and software to continue to create competitive advantage. But increasingly, there's a spotlight on IT and how IT needs to transform to facilitate that digital transformation. And oftentimes, organizations look at the traditional IT assets, and there's a huge opportunity to modernize those investments. In fact, modernizing traditional IT is what frees up the people and the capital to then initiate the transformation, which oftentimes is constituted with a transformed target. And as I'm modernizing traditional IT and laying down a transformed target, I'm creating gravity from one ecosystem to the other. And this is really how IT transformation further facilitates the digital transformation. Now, if you go back just 5 years, I think a lot of organizations thought they were going to solve this transformed target almost exclusively with public cloud. It was flexible and agile, and there were new consumption models. And while we'll continue to see public cloud grow, it's projected to grow about 20% over the next 4 years, it's increasingly becoming a multi-cloud world. Organizations can't solve this with one hyperscaler. In fact, the vast majority are in 2 or more. But it's not just hyperscalers. The vast majority also deploy and will continue to deploy an on-prem data center. And workloads will traverse both. In fact, 50% of workloads that were born on public will repatriate over the next 2 years, and workloads that may start on-prem will go off. And all of this multi-cloud function starts to create the new decision criteria for where and how we need to simplify IT. Each one of these is an operational silo. They've got disparate tools that do management and automation and orchestration. They've got complex financials, security, and compliance footprints that all need to be understood and sorted through. So from an IT point of view, we really need to begin to look at this transformation from the top down and from the bottom up. From the top down, applications will experience change events. They may be repurchased and need to move to a SaaS model as IT identifies how to catch that application compelling event. They may be rewritten, replatformed, or rehosted. And in that case, I'll need to offer platform, container, and infrastructure as a service. They may be just rehosted, and a virtual environment will be part of the solution there, or retained or retired. And in that case, I also got to figure out what to do with some of the applications or workloads that are physical and maybe non-x86, because that's all part of the transformation landscape as well. And again, what we saw in the previous slide is not one public cloud can be all things to all customers. And increasingly, they're looking for a strategic partner. And this is really where Dell Technologies is best positioned. It starts with an industry-leading portfolio of brands that are clearly organized around 4 key transformations: digital, IT, workforce, and security transformation. We then back this industry-leading portfolio of brands with the industry's largest investment in research and development, both on a look back and go forward, and the most comprehensive collections of patents, innovation, and leadership positions. That market-leading brands with the backing from R&D delivers industry-leading products, #1 in almost every category we compete, from server to storage to data protection, all the way to client and displays. We are the strategic partner to help customers rationalize this from the top down and from the bottom up. So as we start to think about how IT would catch these workloads, we can really simplify cloud complexity. Oftentimes, organizations will start with some sort of service portal or catalog that will kick off downstream APIs that institute infrastructure, container, or platform as a service. But look, at the end of the day, these workloads need to land somewhere. And very simply, they're going to land on-prem or off-prem. And there's a set of decision criteria that customers will go through to determine which landing zone is most appropriate. Of course, cost and performance are key drivers, but things like governance, compliance, and security are also part of this framework as well. So if you think of this general framework as how we simplify the catching ecosystem, this is really what Dell Technologies is focused on simplifying with the Dell Technologies Cloud. And if we really now build this from the bottom up on where and how the Dell Technology Cloud creates simplification, packaging, and productization of this as an outcome, is the key differentiator in our portfolio and in our strategy. So first things first, let's double click on the off-prem landing zones. We're really the only organization on the planet that's done the research, development, and innovation work to interconnect across clouds, on-prem to off-prem, and between clouds, essentially creating a bridge as organizations evolve and adopt off-prem landing zones, delivering portability and choice. But our model doesn't just start with interconnecting on to off and then breaking down the walls between off-prem landing zones. We also know that in that statistic, the large majority of customers will deploy an on-prem landing zone as well. Generally, these can be categorized in maybe 5 general workload buckets. And they're going to need a collection of server, storage, network, and data protection to address this. It might make sense in a big data use case for HPC, and I'll need a large server capability. Or in a Hadoop environment, server and scale out file and object. Maybe in my cloud native environment, as I'm building a PaaS platform, I do that on hyperconverged. Or in a mission critical VMware environment, I need server and storage array technology. The point is, the capability to deliver across server, storage, network, and data protection clearly differentiates us from the competition. You could have a point product vendor that sells a storage array, or a hyper-converged appliance, or a data protection appliance, but they really don't have the portfolio capability. Now, there's also maybe an infrastructure portfolio company that can do some of these categories, but they don't lead in any of them. They're number 2 in storage, number 2 in server, number 4 in storage, number 6 in hyperconverged. Our ability to deliver market-leading products across the portfolio to facilitate these on-prem landing zones differentiates our on-prem capability. But it's not just about creating connections off-prem and leading in solutions on-prem. It's now living a life in this multi-cloud world, in that whether I have containers or virtual machines or applications, whether they're automated and orchestrated on IaaS, CaaS, or PaaS, and whether they land on-prem or off-prem, I'm ready to react to whatever the business and application environment presents. And as the business and application environment evolves, I'm able to seamlessly transition those workloads and strategies between on-prem and off-prem. So the interconnection between clouds, across clouds, and leadership on-prem is how we deliver the consistent infrastructure portion of the Dell Tech Cloud. But we don't stop there. We go above the line as well. We talked about the integration between VMware and Pivotal, and now from one organization being able to deliver infrastructure, container, and platform as a service. And now I really can start to simplify this multi-cloud complexity, because I can create common visibility, common governance, simplified automation orchestration, simplified security, regardless of whether it's IaaS, containers, or platforms, whether it lands on-prem or off-prem, and regardless of how it changes over time. This is the key differentiator.